Well, taking a look at the skies out in Springfield on our tower cam, things are quiet for now. We have a little bit of clouds that are starting to roll in, but definitely not seeing any thunderstorm activity. That's out to the west, and it's making its way towards us. But look what just happened recently, just a couple minutes ago. All these red boxes, tornado watches that have been put into effect for really people that are out to the west of Highway 65. We still have a tornado threat for people that are going to be out to the east of Highway 65. It's just later on into the night. This tornado watch goes until 5 a.m. and I can see all the other tornado watches out to the west in Oklahoma and Kansas, and that's because they've been experiencing some very active weather that has been happening. The great news right now, there's no tornado warnings for really anyone occurring out to the west. We have this cell right up here in northern Kansas. I'm keeping my eye on as that has tornadic potential. That's what that orange box is right there. But really kind of this bulk of activity of thunderstorms. This guy right in here is the one that's about to spill into our area in just the next coming hours and return the chances of severe weather here into the Ozarks. But the good news right now is most of these thunderstorms are starting to clump together into a group. I want to see that happen a little bit more because once that happens, it's a lot harder to get these supercells to develop, and instead you kind of get a less of a tornado threat, but more of a threat of damaging winds are going to be into effect. And look at the SPC's outlook for tonight. They really stepped up and really ramped up the outlook for today, and they put us under a moderate risk for severe weather. That's 4 out of 5. That is something you really don't see in the Ozarks too often, especially it's extending all the way out east some places of Highway 65 because we're going to have all this active weather really move in and push across our area. I'm expecting kind of two different key phases of severe weather that's going to be happening. The first phase is what's going to be happening out to the west. And the very first potential thing that's going to be happening is they're going to have all those supercells that are going to be spilling across the state line. And it's going to be mostly a tornado threat and a hail threat that could be on the table. Thankfully, so far, they've only been seeing hail somewhere between dime to quarter size in the last half hour. But earlier tonight, they were producing golf ball, even tennis ball sized hail in some places. The second phase is what the majority of people are going to be experiencing. A lot of these thunderstorms for phase 2 are going to start to clump together more into a line, and they're not going to have as much shoulder room to really grow and blossom into some supercell tornadic potential. And instead, we're going to have mostly a wind threat that's going to be on the table. And just look at this widespread wind threat that's going to be here for us. And I think it's a main concern that we have. I know winds aren't as flashy as a tornado threat, but we can get winds that are up to 80 miles per hour tonight. That is tornadic wind speeds that are coming in a widespread area. Tornado threat, yeah, let's just go through all the severe weather threats from top to bottom. The tornado threat is still absolutely up there. I think the largest tornadoes we can get is going to be what's occurring out west. And once they start to kind of get into that phase 2 where we get these storms to cluster together into a line, we can still get a tornado that's going to spin up, but it's probably an EF0 or EF1 if it does. Hail, somewhere between ping pong size for most of us. And another concern that we have to mention is it's going to be a whole lot of rain happening in a very short amount of time, which means flash flooding can be an issue. At some places you can see somewhere between 1 to 3 inches with rainfall rates that are going to be very fastly approaching. This is how models are tracking right now. Now keep this in mind, models have been very inconsistent and having a hard time struggling with this event, but I think by the time we're getting to 11 to midnight, we're starting to see this line of thunderstorms pushing into I-49 corridor. It's going to continue to track off into the east, providing more thunderstorm chances, those heavy rains and severe weather chances. The question I have right now is how far south does it extend down? I think it can extend really south of I-44, but the potential that people in northern Arkansas may get out of the situation without seeing too much nasty weather that's going to be on their hands, and it can linger all the way until Sunday morning before we can start to shut things down briefly. And then we have to deal with another chance of storms that could be on the table for Sunday night, especially if we don't clear out the slate and have to go through this all again. But this is the timeline for what I'm expecting for tonight. Really only an hour or two, and we can start to see that activity that's going to be pushing into our area, and it can be a long night for some folks as this line is going to continue to trug across the Ozarks west to east. Take a look at the full 7-day forecast. We just have to get through kind of a nasty Sunday that's going to be in play, and then Memorial Day, it's looking nice. We're getting sunny, we're getting temperatures that are going to get back to kind of that seasonal mark. Really no major concerns of rain until we get kind of like almost a week from now, Sydney.
I mean, it was a pretty beautiful day today. I know I went to the pool with my parents because it was so nice outside, but definitely make sure you have your Color 10 and Fox 49 weather app downloaded and turn on those notifications because this is really going to hit while we're all sleeping tonight.
And there's a lot of people like at that concert. Thankfully, we're expecting most of that activity to not be arriving by the time concert goers are going home, but a lot of people outside camping in RVs. So if you have someone that's out, make sure you give them a message. Just say, hey, make sure you know this is coming tonight.
All right. Thanks for the update, Matt.